Okay, we're live. We're live. Hey, folks, this is Runner Storm 331 on this Saturday morning. I hope everyone's having a great day. My vacation's coming to an end after today, so I'll be back to work, and we'll be back to doing streaming once more after SGQ ends. So we'll be resuming that with Bravely Default starting tomorrow. But anyway, today I wanted to get this impromptu strategy guide. I mean, not strategy guide, but beginner's guide for Shuma Gorath, who's going to be our next character that we're going to be covering. So when they came out with this game, obviously it was pretty interesting for the villain choices for this game, in all honesty, because Shuma Gorath as well as Blackheart aren't really well-known villains in the Marvel universe. I mean, Magneto and Juggernaut are just as well-known. But Shuma Gorath is actually a primordial deity who rules the Chaos Dimension, and some comic book characters in the Marvel universe, like Doctor Strange or others that deal with mystic forces, are usually the ones that deal with Shuma Gorath most of the time. But this is a rather obscure villain, and of course, this character, of course, was never in any part of the Infinity Gauntlet saga, but apparently that was what Capcom had for its choices of characters to use for their game at the time. So anyway, this is a beginner's guide for Shuma Gorath, and this basically covers the basics from movement. Oh, hi, Nightmare James, welcome. Hope you're having a great day today. We're doing a guide for Shuma Gorath. It's going to be more of a beginner's guide, not combo heavy or whatever, but it's just what it is. But anyway, I'm just putting out my knowledge about this character, as well as hoping to help other people that want to get into this game learn the basics. But anyway, I hope everyone on chat has been doing well, and I hope everyone's had a great week, but looking forward to streaming again tomorrow. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is non-scripted, so I'm going to be making plenty of mistakes, but if you understand what I'm trying to do or say, then more power to you. But anyway, let's get started. And when I do highlight this, I will have the timestamps for each of the ones that we're going to be covering. And for the most part, Shuma Gorath is pretty much a charge character, but he's probably the closest thing we have of an actual grappler in this game. There aren't any grapplers in this game. Shuma Gorath, Hulk, and Spider-Man are the only characters with actual grab moves. Thanos could also be a grappler character because he does have a move that immobilizes an opponent, but it's not really a grab move per se. And of course, Spider-Man also has a pretty unique grab command in general, but for the most part, Shuma Gorath is a charge character, and he definitely relies on throws for his good chunk of his gameplay for the most part. We'll get to those eventually. So we're going to go ahead and cover the movement first. So Shuma Gorath is pretty interesting because he uses his tentacles to move around as well as to attack. And he has a pretty small walking speed. I mean, that doesn't seem pretty much of a huge deal, but that's a different story when you dash, because he has a pretty fast dash. So Capcom definitely love to give slow characters very fast dashes. So if you're familiar with Third Strike and Makoto, she has probably one of the most nastiest dashes out of the playable cast. Not to mention some of her specials allow her to close the gap pretty quickly. But for the most part, Shuma Gorath has a pretty weird backdash. It's not nearly as fast as his forward, but it's pretty good to help him get out of the way. And his fall speed is pretty decent. That could be a very big difference when you're trying to jump in, because sometimes a longer jump can be either beneficial or it could be worse. And the same thing applies to a very fall drop. Now, despite his appearance, Shuma Gorath is actually way heavier than some of the other characters. Other characters like Iron Man, Juggernaut, Hulk, and Blackheart also fit into this category of the weightness. So this is Shuma Gorath's super jump. He has a very floaty super jump at the end, and it's very hard to control characters once they start their free fall from the jumps. That was not what I meant to do. But if you're going for cross-ups, you do want to start having to learn how to do the super jumps. just move back and forward, and you should be able to line yourself with your opponent more correctly. But for the most part, his descent is going to be either a blessing or a curse, because his mystic charge can be also performed, or smash can be performed from the air. So you can use that to get more height for the most part. But we're jumping a little bit ahead on the specials. But anyway, that covers most of Shuma Gorath's movement. So we're going to go ahead and cover the norms. So basically, for combo system, Shuma Gorath pretty much relies heavily on punch to kicks. He's similar to Iceman from Children of the Atom. So you can't really switch to another strength unless you hit it for another strength, which is what you do right here. So that makes it a little bit harder to perform a certain task, because you want to lead with a punch and straight into a kick. That's not always the case. But anyway, his aerial is pretty much 3-string stronger, I believe. But it is possible to chain a light punch, light kick, medium punch, medium kick, and either to fierce punch or fierce kick, or heavy kick or fierce punch. But technically, you want to end your air combos with the heavy punch. And he could probably get 2 of those in a single air combo if you're lucky enough. But we'll cover that in a bit. So anyway, this is basically the light punch. Crouching light punch. And this is his aerial air punch. Now, the aerial air punch is pretty much used for the air combos. It's not a very good substitute for jump in. He does have pretty good fast light punches. And you could do 2 hits with the light punch and into one of your kicks for the most part. So now that we covered the light punch, we'll go ahead and cover his medium. So this is basically his mediums for both air, standing, and crouching. So this is how much damage this does. Now, the crouching medium punch will do 2 hits. It's a pretty decent ender, but not really good. But you can definitely combo it right into a light version of Mystic Smash right into it, if you're right near your opponent. But don't expect to do that in online rank matches or whatever, because that's actually pretty hard to do. But if you're going to go for your combo starter from air, you want to do your medium punch, because you can do that right into your medium kick, and that's actually a very safe way to get in your combo starting for the most part. And that can also be linked right after a Chaos Dimension, but we'll cover that eventually. So this is his heavy punch, and that covers a pretty good distance, almost to sweep range, just about. Now, of course, Shuma Gorath does not have a sweep, by the way. Even though he does have this, but that's not really a sweep. But anyway, he can do this from crouching, and surprisingly, that almost hits the enemy from that range, too. So if you're right in this position, you can do this. And if you're close to your opponent like that, you can also do this, too. But you won't always get that options during an online rank match, though. So anyway, Shuma Gorath has some pretty interesting heavy jump-ins. So when at the height of his jump, he'll do an upward I-beam, whereas on his way down, he'll do a downward beam with his heavy punch. You can actually manipulate your the way the beam's trajectory goes. So if you're holding up during the entire jump, he'll fire upwards. If you hold down during the jump, he'll do downwards. And that can also be used as a spike for twice. Like that. So this actually gives Shuma Gorath a little bit of extra combo room for the most part. So you definitely want to end your air combos with this, and then the downward beam if if you can do it. It does take quite a bit of practice though. I mean, used to play Shuma Gorath a whole lot, but I'm not nearly as good with him on the controller than I did with the simple arcade cabinet for the most part. But anyway, that covers his punches. So let's cover his kicks next. So we're going to be covering the light kick first. So this is his standing light kick. This is his crouching light kick, and that's actually his fastest one, actually. And this is his aerial light kick. That could be actually used in air combos. Like that. And this is his medium kick, by the way. The medium kick allows Shuma Gorath to act as his launcher. So if you want to start air combos with him, you do need to... You want to be using the medium kick. You do want to keep an eye out on your range, because if you're too close to your opponents, you're going to and you want to try to go into your lights to mediums, then to heavies in your air combos, you definitely want to range your space for your launcher, because too close is going to make you miss your hits, and that's pretty important if you're going to add your lights. So Shuma Gorath does have an interesting command with his medium kick. So if you do down medium kick during the jump, he'll do this, where he petrifies himself. And this allows him to basically hit any opponents that's below him. That'll cause an immediate knockdown. Now, believe it or not, Shuma Gorath's medium kick can also be used as a crossover. So if you line yourself over your opponent and do this as well as your medium punch, you can get some cross-up opportunities with Shuma here. So now we're going to cover his heavy kicks, or fierce kicks as I used to call them. So this actually has some pretty darn range. Pretty darn good range. So up close, if the opponent doesn't block all of them, you can get 4 hits. It does leave Shuma pretty vulnerable. It's very hard for him to get a Mystic Smash out of this. You have to wait for the very tail end of the attack to end before you can do that. This could be an excellent follow-up to Mystic Stare if you want to use that. So this is his crouching heavy kick. This is pretty much his only normal, as far as I know, that can be used to serve as an air counter. But it's not very good protection overall in my experience. And this is Shuma Gorath's jumping heavy kick. So this actually would look very good on paper. It's actually a pretty good jumping attack if you want to get in some damage and keep yourself at a distance, but it's not very good in an air combo. Like, I tried to go for a 3-kick air combo, which I just did. And you can definitely tell that the hitbox for the attack is extended, so it will not hit the opponent, but it could work if the opponent's OTG by that point. But don't really expect that to do that with air combos, unfortunately. But yeah, just do not get too heavy on the heavy kicks for your main offense, because you can get punished out of that pretty quickly, and it's very hard to do the Mystic Smash during that animation, unless you cancel it right into that, of course. But if you want to just do Mystic Stare right after the very tail end of your attack right there. So anyway, that covers the norms. So we're going to cover the throws next. So Shuma Gorath is a pretty nasty grappler, even with his normal throws and everything. So this is his punch with both medium and heavy punch. You can use that to get some space between you and your opponents. So if they're getting too close to you, or you don't want them near, keep them away from you, you can just do this. So that adds up to 28 damage or 27 overall. So he does have a kick throw with both medium and heavy kicks. So if you're running low on health, you could basically steal some from the opponent here. And that can also be used to set up a lot of tricks. Let me try this again. And I'm going to do it one more time, but yeah, you can, like, advanced players can literally chase after opponents and then set them up for another launcher. Let me see if I can do that once again. Yeah, that was a failed attempt since we were near the edge. Yeah, I'm not a very good expert player, but technically those are fast enough to get this going, can set up another air combo. And this can also be performed on the air too, if you're lucky enough to... like right here. But anyway, that covers his aerial throw. And he has one more with the punches too. Which is this one right here. So if you're trying to go for, if your opponents are jumping right near you and you're close to range, you can use the medium punch or heavy punch to throw them back to terra firma. Now he does have one more grab, and that's actually his super. But we'll cover that in a small bit. But right now, let's go over his specials. So Shuma Gorath is actually a charge character, and one of his charge moves is Mystic Stare. Now, the punch you use, these will always deal 6 damage. The damage, of course, varies depending on the strength of your punch and the speed of it. So you can deal anywhere between 15 to 16 to 17 damage with the range. So the damage will always vary depending on your strength and your range. But technically you want to use that as your main keep away. It is possible to do combos. Expert players that do no charge repetition or anything that would help them build up their charge time can easily put that into their combos. But I would recommend just prioritizing one move. It is possible to do a charge move, then start charging right after the that, but it's very hard to do. But anyway, this move I'm displaying right now is his Mystic Smash, or sometimes called Mystic Charge. Now, depending on your strength that you select, this will cause Shuma Gorath to attack depending on his range. So this is his light version, which is a pretty short range. This is a medium, this almost gets to where the opponent is. And this is the heavy version, which gets you to where your opponent is. Now, they do pretty much the same amount of hits. Now, sometimes you can actually, sometimes your opponents will not get knocked down from a Mystic Charge, but that's very rare. Now, this move can also be performed in the air. Most charge moves will usually occur once you save up to about at least 2 seconds. So basically, if you're jumping backwards and you're trying to get away from your opponent or fake them out, you can use this as a pretty good fake tool, pretty much. In fact, you could probably start charging right after you get during your descent, because you can't really move backwards a whole lot with Shuma Gorath since he has a very slow descent, but this can pretty much allow him to set up a Mystic Charge if you're very very quick enough. Hello, Toe of the Foe too, and thank you for the GGs and hype. Alright, so that covers Mystic Smash. Now we cover his final one, which is Devastation. I mean, Devitalization, I should say. So this is basically his command grab, and this does the same amount of damage regardless of the strength you perform. So I'm using all 3 kicks, and they all deal the same amount of damage. But of course, the strength actually depends on how fast your grab animation occurs. It's pretty fast when you do the heavy version. You have moderate speed with medium, And you got the slowest grab with the light. This is actually a pretty good tool if you're confident with your dashing. You can use this to fool opponents into blocking, or just do it from an attack like this. But of course, that won't always work with all norms. Technically, you can just do that with one of your from light kick, or go straight into your other difficulty of choice. And you can basically get your grabs off of there. So this is why Shuma Gorath is pretty much our closest grappler by far. He has more grab tricks as well as his super. Now, before I do forget, Mystic Smash also acts as his infinity counter, which means you do this from doing back, down, any kick, I believe. It depends on the move that you're trying to use. Like some characters will do it from punches, others will do it from kicks. So in this case, it's down, back, down, kick with Shuma Gorath for his Mystic Charge, and he'll do the light version. Now, unfortunately, Shuma Gorath only has one super meter to work with, same as Blackheart, and he only has one super, which is pretty convenient. So this is basically Chaos Dimension, which is, of course, is pretty ironic because that's actually named after the dimension which he is permanently sealed to in the comics. So Chaos Dimension is pretty much his high grapple move. So when you press any of the medium or heavy punches during this state, he will grab the opponent and do this vortex move. Does like considerable amount of damage. Up to 52 damage at most. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Shuma Gorath will glow for up to, from what I researched, up to 10 seconds. So you got 10 seconds to grab your opponent. So only your mediums and heavy buttons will become grab attempts during that phase. You could still do your light punches and kicks, but you do have to be pretty fast on the uptake. Now, you can damage your enemies during the startup of Chaos Dimension. So if your opponents are pretty close to the wall, what you can do right here is do this, then jump after them, grab them, and you basically get your 2 hits. And you can even set up an air combo through, since your opponents are going to be OTG. We'll do this again. I'll show you once more. But you have to be pretty quick because the moment Shuma Gorath comes out, you're going to have very little time of setting up your medium punch to medium kick pretty quickly. But you can start up another air combo out of Chaos Dimension. This is actually a pretty decent move, pretty much. But it's very hard to chain... But if you want to do combos to start things off, you definitely want to do it from your light punch to kick. That'll be your best starter for setting up Chaos Dimension combos for the most part. But technically, if you're lucky enough, your best option is to always, with Chaos Dimension, get your opponents to the corner, jump after them, grab them, then reap the rewards. And that's pretty much how you get a Chaos Dimension combo right there. Now, unfortunately, we do not have Shuma Gorath's corresponding gem. With every character in this game, outside Thanos and Doctor Doom, Shuma Gorath gets access to the Time Gem. He and Hulk are the only ones that get access to that. So basically, when he has Time Gem, not only does he go faster, but any of his norms that connects will temporarily petrify the opponent. So basically, this allows him to basically extend his combos. He can keep the opponents from doing whatever they want, so as long as the Time Gem's in effect. It's actually pretty nice. But overall, Shuma Gorath does take quite a bit of practice to really get down. And since I don't have a whole lot of experience with charge characters other than charging the moves, those that do master charging are going to have a field day with this character. You can basically take full advantage of this to set up combos. You can do all sorts of stuff with Shuma. It's really up to the player. But high-level players will pretty much decimate just about anyone with Shuma Gorath once they fully master this character and take full advantage of his charge attacks, his grabs, and also master his combo system. But overall, Shuma Gorath is actually a pretty fun character once you learn everything there is to the character. Hopefully, this will be enough for anyone that's getting into learning this game. And I hope to see more people get into this. Hopefully, these guides will be a big help to anyone that will want to play this game. It's currently available right now on the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Of course, I'm doing rank matches, but I plan to quit rank once I hit Master. So once I hit Master, the only time you'll probably see me anywhere online is probably casual matches. Because I've already achieved my goal for X-Men Shoulder of the Atom, reaching Diamond rank, and I have no intentions of going anywhere higher on that rank mode. So once I hit Master on Marvel Super Heroes, that'll be it for my rank career, pretty much. I'll be going directly into casual after that. But anyway, I also want to point out that the future guides, I will not add Doctor Doom or Thanos, or even Intia, and that's because those characters are not selected for during rank matches. So these guys are mostly going to aim for anyone that wants to get into rank matches or learn the characters, since if they don't have the resources available. But anyway, I will have this highlighted later on today or sometime next week, and I will have another character to put out a beginner's guide for short, but hopefully this will be helpful for everyone that wants to play this game. Anyway, I'm RotorStorm331 signing off. You all have a great day. Take care, and I will see you all tomorrow for Bravely Default. Have a great day.